January. If you're anything like me over Christmas, you'll pack in loads of rich, tasty, delicious, treatful food. On Christmas Day itself, in the UK, it's traditional to have a giant dinner with a turkey, loads and loads of meat, loads of veggies, and you eat till you're absolutely stuffed. You have to literally loosen your belt. I mean, I will end up doing that by the end of the meal. And then you have Christmas pudding, which is a really stodgy, warm pudding. And by January, you just feel ready for a kind of change in lifestyle. Oh, by the way, there's my little boy again. He's joining me today. The other one's just playing over here. But by January, you are ready for a change in lifestyle. You're ready to kind of get your strength, get your fitness, get your health back, and you actually kind of have this feeling that you kind of want to go for a run. And it's classic in my culture, I don't know if it's true in your culture, to set New Year's resolutions. So what we say on the 31st of December, we feel a little bit podgy, we feel a bit bad for ourselves, we feel a bit lethargic and full of food, and we say, right, I'm going to switch it up a bit. So my New Year's resolution, my change as of the 1st of January is going to be, and usually it's related to health, diet, exercise. I'm going to go for a run every day of the week. I'm going to learn to run a marathon, and we set ourselves goals. It might be a dietary goal that you're going to eat less rubbish, a bit less sugar, a bit less fat, maybe some less meat, and then put more fruit and vegetables into your life, things like that. And we call them New Year's resolutions. So this year, one of my New Year's resolutions is to kind of cut the sugar right down to Friday nights if possible. So I've still got a load of Christmas chockies to work through. So I'm kind of going to munch on those on the weekends, and then during the week I don't want to be having sugar. There's a few other things I want to do to kind of keep healthy and keep active. So these are New Year's resolutions. Now, a resolution is where you make a commitment. You have a resolve to do something or to not do something for a greater good. You've got an idea in mind that you want to accomplish through setting these new habits and these new patterns. So I wanted to kind of talk about how these tend to unfold. I think most people's experience is that you kind of set these New Year's resolutions and these goals, and then within the first week or two, when you get tired and you get a bit fed up, and in the UK winter's dark and cold and wet, and you kind of just give up and everything just goes out the window and it's just back to normal again. And I wanted to talk about this kind of tendency to kind of drop our resolutions and things. And I think I've been kind of reflecting on myself and my own psychology. I think there's a reason that we do it. I think it comes down partly to the fact that we get weak at times and we give in and we let a little bit go, and then the whole lot goes. It's how our psychology works. It's like if you've decided to cut sugar out like me, it might be that you just see, I don't know, some cake or some chocolates or some biscuits in your house, and they just tempt you, they allure you, and you grab one, and then once you've had one, it's like, well, why bother, why keep going, and then the whole thing falls apart. There's no point, your resolution's broken, there's no point keeping it up at all. So I want to suggest some ways that we could change the way we think about our resolutions and the way we think about our commitments to help us stay in them in the longer run, even potentially after we've made mistakes, because I make mistakes, but I actually really want to keep going with some of my resolutions this year. So I think one of the things you can do is you can direct your life and your environment and your home towards keeping your resolution. So are we okay back there? So one of the things would be, for example, if your resolution is to do something in fitness, leave some fitness gear out. If you want to get into yoga, keep your yoga mat somewhere visible where you can see it. Or if it's a dietary thing, let's say I've been getting into smoothies in January. I absolutely love them. So having some things out on the shelves that like tempt you to make good smoothies, things like oats and nuts and all the kind of good stuff that you're going to put into a smoothie, this kind of stuff that you want in your body in the morning, have that available to you so you see it, rather than having biscuits on the shelves and things. So that's one way. And the other is to kind of go easy on ourselves if we drop our resolutions. So if you make a little mistake, be forgiving of yourself. Life is tough and you do drop it, and don't kind of keep fixed on the bigger picture. Don't presume that just because you've made one little concession, you've made one little mistake, that means the whole thing's out the window. What were you doing it for? If you're desiring that you're going to have absolute perfection, never fail and never get it wrong once, what was it all about? Was it all about the kind of the lifestyle goal? Was it about the fitness? Was it about the health that you get from changing your diet? Now, you might be wondering why I'm talking about New Year's resolutions, because I think there's something that we can learn spiritually when we reflect on New Year's resolutions, when we think about what it is to set ourselves goals, because we set ourselves spiritual resolutions. We want to keep up with spiritual disciplines like prayer, maybe fasting. It might be that spending time worshipping or reading the Word of God are our kind of spiritual resolutions and our spiritual commitments. So in a similar way, when we're talking about these New Year's resolutions to do with health and fitness and diet, I've said that if you drop it once or you make one mistake, don't presume it's all out the window. That's even more true when it comes down to the spiritual commitments we make. If we drop the ball or we make a mistake or we don't keep it up as much as we'd like to, don't presume the whole thing's out the window. Keep a bigger picture. Why are we doing it? Because God's great and we love him and it's amazing spending time with him. And he has the power to transform and change our lives and even the lives of people around us if we surrender to him and commit ourselves to him. And if we've got our view on those bigger goals, if we understand why we're committing to something spiritually, then when we drop the ball once or twice, it doesn't matter. God has grace, he cares for us, he loves us, he can forgive sin, and he's patient, he's kind, he's caring, he's gracious. And he's not going to hold it against us when we make mistakes. He's a God who is abounding with love and faithfulness and ready to forgive us. Whoa, there's my boy up there. He loves climbing logs. It's actually quite a high one as well, but he seems to enjoy the challenge. We've got a God who cares for us. He's patient, he's kind, he forgives us. And the other thing I mentioned was surrounding our lives by the things that motivate us to do, to keep up with our goals. So whether that's actually just having a Bible on the shelf next to you, if you want to read the Bible in the morning, just have it nearby you in the morning. Or it might be that it's worship music, just having a worship playlist on your desktop, on your computer that reminds you every time you open up your computer, it's there, this is an option, this is something I want in my life. But it's kind of gearing your life towards success, not putting things in that can mislead us and tempt us away. So in a similar way, we don't want to, in the way that, oh wow, it's getting even higher, which is a bit unnerving. In the same way that we don't want to tempt ourselves to eat chocolates and things like that. If we've given up chocolate as our New Year's resolution, you don't leave chocolate on your shelf. Don't do that with sin. Don't put yourself in the way of sin. If you think about Jesus' prayer, the Lord's Prayer, he said this: "Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name, your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as in heaven." What then? Lead us not into temptation. These boys are loving playing out in the woods. It's just such a good place for them. So so it's about surrounding our lives by things that inspire us, that encourage us, and staying away from things that will mislead us or cause us to sin or tempt us away. So I was just thinking, from New Year's resolutions, there's so much that we can learn about our spiritual commitments, our spiritual resolves. Yeah, let's see you again. Oh my goodness, he gets higher and higher every time I look. I think that probably means I'm going to need to go now. I think my spiritual resolution needs to be to catch this boy. No, he's not really going to need catching. He's amazing on these logs. I totally think he's going to be able to find his own way down, but I should probably get on board with helping him with that. So we'll see you later. Can you say bye-bye to everyone?
Bye-bye.
Can you say bye-bye to everyone? Say bye-bye. Bye-bye. Oh, he's just zoned out. He's just looking up to his brother. He loves his big brother so much. Anyway, I'm going to go now, guys. God bless. Stay safe. Just stick with it, guys. Whatever your resolutions are, even if you've dropped the ball, you feel like you've let it go, just remember the bigger picture, both spiritually and in terms of your mind, your body and your health. We need to take care of ourselves in this season. It's a challenging season. Bye for now.